Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and the foremost Kamen Rider Decade apologist. Do not panic. This is just a random review.
Sometimes you get a toy in hand that's just so special you've got to talk about it. Even if it seems unassuming, sometimes that can disguise the fact that it is a very exceptional piece. And that is what we are here to do today. We are talking about Electromagnetic Soundwave from Transformers Animated. And while it seems just like a simple repaint of the Activators figure, the truth of it is that, as described in my canceled animated toys video, it was unreleased. According to TF Wiki, about a dozen or so examples got into collectors' hands, so it is an exceptionally rare thing when you can actually get to talk about something like this. So that is what we are going to do today. Now, before we begin, thank you very much to everyone who has been supporting the channel and helping it grow. If you'd like to keep the channel going, a buck or two in Patreon is appreciated, and I thank everyone for doing it. Or if you can't do Patreon, I know gas prices suck right now. Hit like and subscribe before you leave the video. Helps me a lot. So first off, this came from Diotropic over on eBay. Same guy I got my my prototype kickbacks from. I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description for you to check out if you want to see what else he's got. He does have a few of these up for sale now. But let's see what you're actually getting. Let's see what goes into an unreleased Transformer. Now, like I said, it is an activator, which means it is a very small and auto-transforming version of a full-sized animated character. In this case, obviously, Soundwave. It is done in an off-white plastic with some black plastic thrown in as well for the wheels and a few in the hinges. But for the most part, it's pretty well hidden, and we'll see a lot more of it in the robot mode. The main deco here is, of course, this teal coloring that goes across the top, as well as forming this cassette-styled shapes and stripes along the side. Excellent throwback to his original form. And then the purple windshields, giving it a very cool look. And then a nice bold Decepticon symbol right there on the hood. I will state, it is just an off-white color. The light in this building is a little bit warm, and I'll try to color correct it in post. But if it still looks a little bit yellowed, no, I haven't left it in the sun. It's just the lighting in here. It is a very nice off-white, though. So the vehicle mode itself, like most activators, is kept pretty simple. You do have a lot of the patterns and sculpting that is present in the Deluxe. I do like that the front grille is done up like Soundwave's original buttons. Rewind, fast forward, etc. That's nice to see. And then you have a power button on the top. So not just the original cassette, we have a little bit of a modern iPod as well. Now, the vehicle mode does look nice. It's nice and blocky. The black hinges do break it up, and then if we look in the rear, we kind of expose what kind of transformer this is. Not a huge deal. I've seen activators that are far more exposed than this. This is perfectly reasonable. All four wheels do work, though one of the pins is a little bit off on here, so one wheel on mine is a little bit stuck. But beyond that, looking quite nice. Quite exceptional. I do really like this this little brick of a van that Soundwave transforms into. I like the color scheme a lot too. Like, it comes off a little bit tailgate in appearance, but there's something about the teal and the purple creating the accents that just pushes it over into that evil territory. You know, it's very Dreadwind. It's a little bit Thunderwing, you know, in that kind of area, but looking quite nice. Now, I will go ahead and tell you the color scheme of this hides a little bit of a secret. For starters, it is based on Soundwave's digital avatar from the episode's Only Human. So already we have a little bit of connection to animated and the actual animated show. The other nice trick here is it's actually technically a photo negative of Sound Blaster's color scheme, especially if you look at the animated version that's not entirely jet black. If I throw it up on screen for you to see what I mean, yeah, you can tell where they got the color scheme's inspiration from. Obviously not a direct one-to-one. There's a little bit of green getting in there for some reason, but yeah, even the gold accents come out in the robot mode. So it's actually a really clever little twist on the color schemes. You can get a little bit of vibe of Shattered Glass Soundwave in there as well, if you so choose to believe that is the homage. It's really up to you. But for the most part, yeah, I actually really like there's a little bit of clever twist to how this works. Alright, so it's an activator, so transformation's not going to take long. But this isn't like a typical one where everything flips out with one button. For starters, it's kind of hard to figure out a place to hold it where everything's going to flip out evenly. I kind of have to like hold it by the roof here. And then we hit the button on the top. And everything springs out like so. But it's not completely transformed. We have a little bit of manual that we have to do as well. Straightening out the arms, for instance, and rotating them to the front is required, as well as separating the legs and folding out the feet. Nothing too terrible. For the most part, you know, it is a total auto transformer. You just have to clean it up a little bit. And that is a very quick transformation segment. A little fun. You know, activators, like this era of activators, like they were either like, you either had Activator Lockdown and his chicken dance and his inability to hold himself together in robot mode, or you had ones like this, where everything seems to work pretty nicely, and what you get is a pretty effective auto transformation gimmick that brings his robot out relatively cleanly and still feels pretty solid as you play with him. So in robot mode, of course, we see a lot more black has been exposed, so it breaks up that off-white very, very nicely. We can see the shoulder and chest deco is adding a little bit more color, and of course now we have a good look at the animated-esque head sculpt, and it's always been an interesting head sculpt. They went with an animated for Soundwave. If I can get the camera to focus in on his head, there we go. Looking pretty weird. The Soundwave head has always amused me because of those eyes that look like it's coming off of the side of his head. I mean, it definitely strikes as a unique design for Soundwave. I will give it that. What's hard to see is that Tampograph Decepticon logo on the chest. It's such a dark purple they use, it just fades into the black. But yeah, I do like the twist on Soundwave's deco here. He does look pretty evil, pretty menacing. I actually really dig this as an alternate to his typical blues. So, proportionally, he is a little bit taller. He's not quite as stocky as animated Soundwave is typically depicted. That kind of comes from just the requirements of the auto-transforming gimmick. Now, that might actually be to your preference if you want a more normal stature to Soundwave. In this case, you know, I think it works. It is unfortunate that of all the things that this toy accomplishes, good forearms are not it. They're just sculpted into the back of the vehicle's door panels, and they are quite thin, unfortunately. I do wish they were a little bit thicker. I wish I actually had some like semblance of real arms there. Instead, I feel like he's just kind of wearing like flattened boxes, which is unfortunate, but again, necessary for the gimmick. We will say that gimmicks like this, I mean, I've been in the past, gimmicks are inherently evil because they interfere with it being an action figure. But if the point of the toy is to be a gimmick, then the action figure is a secondary requirement. So it doesn't require a ton of articulation to impress me at that point, and I am much more forgiving about what the toy should be. So in this case, because it is a toy that doesn't hide the fact that it is a gimmick figure, I'm more forgiving about little things like thin panel arms, especially in light of everything else looking relatively nice on the toy. If we take a look at the articulation level, the head does rotate around 360 degrees. We have the shoulders that do the same, and then a separate joint to move the arms outward. Can look a little bit awkward in some poses, but it's nice to have a little bit of universal movement there. Bicep rotation, that comes in handy from the transformation, as well as a 90-degree elbow. Nothing at the waist, which is unfortunate because I think they could have the hinge for the auto transform is just there, but you can see like when you accordion it back, there is a gap there that all of this starts filling in. So I can see why the waist would have been really hard to work in. The hips, ball jointed, that works well. Thigh rotation, all the way around, and a 90-degree knee. And if you want, those feet can actually pivot forward and a little bit back from its standard position. So you actually do get a little bit more range out of his legs than you would expect. All in all, quite a bit of articulation for the little guy. Can definitely get into some nice poses if you so choose. And yeah, he looks quite good doing it. As I said, I'm actually like a really big fan of this deco. As an auto transformer, getting him back to the vehicle mode is actually something of its own little process, so we might as well demonstrate that too. So close those up again. We're going to fold these arm panels back into their original spots. And once he is back into this like flattened configuration, we're going to flip up his chest like so. That should start pulling all of those gears and springs into their correct orientation. Make sure these tabs go inside the front of the vehicle. And when you're pressing things together, keep an eye on the button here on the back. Once you've got everything nice and tight and in its right spot, you should be able to just like flip it back and everything holds in place. And there you're back to vehicle mode and ready to go again. So with that, and an out of focus shot to finish, there you go. That's going to do it for Electrostatic Soundwave. It's a very nice activator figure with a really surprisingly nice deco, though it is so different from what you expect from Soundwave. Articulation works really well. The proportions aren't entirely accurate, but they might be to your preference. And yeah, it's just a really nice little auto transformer. Again, thank you very much to Diotropic for providing me the chance to actually talk about such a rare figure. And yeah, go get your own if you want it. Not cheap, of course, because there's probably what 20 at the most, something ridiculous like that. But yeah, it's cool when things like this end up in a collector's hands. I love getting toys that you're not supposed to get or were never supposed to see the light of day. When you do get it, makes it special, even if it's something simple like this. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next review. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.